Welcome to Off Script with your favorite host, Alex the Rebel. So it's Oscar season, right? So a lot of new movies are coming out, and there's a lot of movies that have been nominated, right? And I'm not gonna lie, for Oscar season, most of these movies, I'm like whatever, they're pretentious. I don't understand them, but it's just one of those things. But there was this one movie that I wanted to watch, even though I knew it was like an Oscar movie. It's one of those that is like pretty obvious that it's like an Oscar type movie. And I didn't know much about it because I don't watch trailers or read anything. I don't read synopsis. I don't read nothing. And all I saw was this movie called Hamnet. And so I wanted to watch it because all I could figure out, I'm like, it has to have some kind of connection to Hamlet. So I'm guessing William Shakespeare. And then throughout the time, I did hear like William Shakespeare, like type of movie. So I was like, all right, cool. And I don't know what it is about, but after a few months, was just hearing how good this movie is. And I'm like, all right, cool. That's good to hear that a movie you want to watch is actually getting good reviews. That's always a good sign. But you never know because again, as a Christian, I don't align myself with the world views of the world. So even when it gets great reviews, it's still out there. You don't know because again, what are they saying? What is the theme? What are they preaching? What are they, what kind of worldview are they giving? But I saw it came out on Peacock, and I'm like, finally, I want to watch it. Let me just press play and watch it, okay? And I watched it, and it broke me. Absolutely broke me. So for this episode, I decided to do something a little bit different. There's some things about this movie that really like touched me. Like there was some themes in this movie that really I could really relate to. So in order for me to talk about this movie and what I was experiencing and what I related to, I'm gonna have to do spoilers. I'm sorry, I know that's against I'm not a spoiler guy. So like if I was watching this and I haven't seen the movie, I'd be like, all right, thanks, Alex. I'm gonna pause it. I'll watch the movie, then come back to the pause. And if that's you, that's perfectly fine. If hey, you don't want to hear spoilers, I get it. Come back when when you're done. But I really want to talk about it because I don't think I could do it justice. And since it's so recent that I saw it, I'm still feeling a lot of the emotion because I watched it yesterday. And I'm still thinking about it a lot. Um, and I'm still feeling. There's still stuff like that I'm feeling about it that I just really want to share. And I don't know how this podcast is gonna go, but I wrote some notes. I never write notes, guys. Like ask anybody. I don't write notes because I go off what they go, off the dome, you know what I mean? But there's so many things that I wanted to say about this movie that I didn't want to beat myself up later. That if I'm like, man, I forgot to say this, because that always happens to me. Every time I record a pod, I'm like, oh shoot, totally forgot about this thing or this theme or whatever. Like, I hate when I do that. So I'm trying to be prepared, trying to be a little bit better for you guys, but still be Alex the Rebel. You know what I'm saying? You still can expect the ridiculousness plus deepness on this one or more vulnerability. It's a hard word for me, but be vulnerable, being open a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just sharing some stuff that I went through. So we're going to talk about the movie Hamnet, right? Like I said, it's based on a book that was written in 2020 by Maggie O'Farrell. And it's basically a reimagining of William Shakespeare um, being inspired by a tragedy that happened to him in writing the book or the play Hamlet. So we're going to get into what it is, but just in case you don't know what it is, I kind of want to bring you in to the way I got shocked because I didn't know. So, anyways, so on to the movie. First of all, the casting was incredible, man, dude. Um, Paul Mescal is William Shakespeare. You got Jacoby Jupe. He's the son Hamnet, and then you got Jessie Buckley, which she plays Agnes. The way they pronounce her name is like Agnes, so I don't know what that means. but she was phenomenal. So I'm gonna break down a little bit more in while I'm talking about the movie, their performances and things that really stood out to me, and also Noah Jupe, which I would explain how they connect. All right, so on to the movie. First of all, I didn't know Richter was gonna be the composer of this movie, and if you don't know who he is, look him up. He's done amazing work. He does like very emotional music, and this one was excellent as well. So, I mean, the cinematography was amazing, the soundtrack was amazing, the acting was amazing. Her performance, like, it was just incredible. The way she gives emotions is insane. Like the way she expresses emotion in this role is insane. All right, so let's jump into the movie. So things I that spoke to me in the first act. So in the first act, I'm breaking them in acts, but I don't know if they're exactly the way they would break these down, but this is the way I'm breaking it down. So act one is basically Will and Agnes meeting and falling in love. Right? I love the chemistry of these two. And I really resonated with him because the man falls in love with this chick quick. Kind of like me. I fell in love with my wife really fast. It was like I want to marry her, you know? And, they come from different kinds of family. They're not supposed to they don't make sense, like she's like this witch or whatever. And obviously the family was not going to like accept her, but he doesn't care. But she gets pregnant. So, I mean, they're kind of like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you going to do? If you get pregnant, you going to leave her? You gotta marry her. You love her. You got her pregnant. Bam. She gives birth. And dude, the scene of her giving birth, you feel like you're watching a person going through it. That's how intense she is. And apparently I never seen much about her. So she's the bride in the new movie The Bride. I haven't watched it yet, but and I haven't heard great things. But anyways, she's the bride as well. And I mean, I guess apparently she's known for just going at it, like going and pushing her emotional level, her intensity to 11. You know what I mean? Like she gives it all. She gets in there, and you see it in this whole movie. Like the way her interactions with Will, and then her giving birth. Like, dude, it was intense. Um, and so she gives birth this is like act two, but she gives birth to three kids eventually. But two of them, the first one is the daughter, and then twins. But the first is a boy, which becomes Hamnet, and then Judith. The second is basically a stillborn. She's dead, and dude, like you felt it. You're like, this is terrible. Like this is a horrible thing to go through. Me as a dad, like just knowing, like if I had like one of my kids born, like crazy, and the way they film it, the way they just really linger in it. Like this movie's like more slower pace. It lets everything breathe. It's justifying these emotions. Like it's building up. It's just slowly building, and you feel like you're in it with these people. Like if you're living it with them, like you get so invested. And Will, this is before he's William Shakespeare. So I mean, he has this whole creative frustration, right? Which I identify with a lot. He's trying to create something. He wants to do something. He wants to write plays and books and tell stories, man. He's just a storyteller, and he's frustrated, because he's trying to work on something. And you know what? She supports him. She's like, you know what? Go to London, like go and work, and try to do it out there. While she's like in a farm, you know what I mean? Like he tries to go for it, tries to do his dream, pursue his dream. And it wasn't like she was like, oh, just go and that's it. She was like, go set it up and I will come to you. But when Judith was born, again, she born dead. Um, she's like, oh, give me the child, because the wife lady. I forgot what they're called. I forget. Anyway, the lady that's helping her, she's like doula, I guess, but she's like helping her, and she's like saying, "No, no, no, it's bad luck or whatever." But she's like, give her to me." So she holds her, and I don't know what they're trying to say, like if she gave it life again. But anyway, she comes to life. Like she gained consciousness, and she's like alive now. Great. Anyways, they cut for a few years, and now the twins are about 11 years old, and the oldest girl is about, I would say, 13, 12, 13, 14, around there. And they're building this beautiful family. Like, you get to see him as a father playing with his kids and just loving on them, and it's just great. You know what I mean? Like, and the relationship that he has, especially with Hamnet, because he's the only boy. Um, like, it got to me when William Shakespeare had to go again to work, and Hamnet's like, "You gotta leave." Uh that that hit me because I always had these talks with my son Noah. He was like 5, 6, 7, and I had to leave. I was a sailor for a few years, but before I would leave, I always pull my son, Noah aside. It was like, all right, you're the man of the house, protect mom, be a good boy, things like that. And it's like that's what he was doing with Hamnet. Like, be brave. You're the man of the house, protect them. And it just it hurts. It just gets to me because those were really hard times for me. I mean, it was pretty bad because I was overseas when my second son Jonah was born, and that wrecked me. Like, I wasn't there, but as a man, we got to provide. Like, that's we got to provide, we got to protect. And thank God, my wife, she had a great family, so a lot of support. So it wasn't one of those like, oh, but it was like, I miss her. I want to be with my wife. I want to be with my kids. But this is where the season we're in right now, and those years were so hard on me. So I have I could connect to him because you could tell that Shakespeare didn't want to go. Like, it wasn't like, oh yeah, I want to leave my kids. No, man, you could tell that it was hard for him to go, but he knew what he had to do. And also, in this time of the movie, you see the relationship between the twins, Hamnet and Judith, and they're so tight. Twins, that how tight they are, how they see each other, how they feel about each other. It's like there's a special bond between twins. Not that I know, but that it's just there. This real special bond that the twins have. And while William Shakespeare is at work, Judith gets ill. So this is like they're set during the bubonic plague, I guess. I don't know exactly what it is. You could Google it, but it's a plague. It's killing people. So she got the bubonic plague. She's dying, and this kid, man, Jacoby Jupa Hamnet, what an actor! Like, it was so good. While I was watching the movie with my wife, I literally looked at my wife like, this kid is amazing. Like, what a performance, man. This kid was phenomenal. Like, phenomenal actor. Like, you believed him. And there was this one moment where, Judith is like, it looks like she's at the end. And Hamnet, he's sitting next to her in bed. And then you see him looking like off somewhere else, and he's like, I see you, or something like that. And he's like talking to death. And then he decides to get in bed with her. And he's like telling her, hey, you're going to be okay. I'm going to be here. I'm going to trade place with you. Like, I'll give you my life, like, I'll be brave. I'll be brave. And dude, I was like, I was already breaking there. Cause dude, it was just such an emotional scene. And so that happens. And then, obviously, the morning comes, and then the mom Agnes comes, and she's like, coming to see Judith, and Judith is like awake. She's okay. that she's good. And then when she's like trying to wake up Hamnet, he's dead. He died. Uh and this that scene was that wrecked me. Um the way there was something like the way she screamed when she saw him, it literally took me back to September 2022. Because there's this part where I mean she's screaming, you could see like she's just screaming with everything, and then she's like still, she had the face of like still screaming, but nothing coming out. And I remember that happening to me when I heard that my mom passed. Um, I I couldn't even get sound out. It got to that point. It was, yeah, it was gut wrenching. Um, and from there, like the movie became about a movie of grief, of how people deal with grief. I just thought that they did an incredible job with handling grief. Um, there was this moment where the mom, Agnes, she just like broken, she shattered, and then you see William come, because you could see he's rushing on the horse. You could tell that he heard about Judith being sick, so he's like trying to get there. And he walks into the door, and he sees Judith. Judith comes and like hugs him. He's like smiling, and I was like, no, it's like he didn't know. You know what I mean? He didn't know about his son, and that was like I don't even, I can't imagine how to feel like you coming home to see your daughter, she's dying, and suddenly she's alive. Like, dude, what a moment of joy. What a moment of joy. And then to find out that your son died. So, she's grieving, he's grieving. But again, it's like he has to go to work. And in this moment, it's like you see how broken she really is. Because in the first part of the movie, she's like so supportive of his dream. Like she was the one that like he needs to go to London. Like you need to go to London and do this. Like this was her idea, you know? Not his. It was her idea. You need to go to London. But now when he needs to go to London, she's which is so makes so much sense. But she was upset. She was upset because he's not grieving like her. You know what I mean? He's not grieving. I mean, at least it looks to her. I imagine that he wasn't grieving. That he's not taking it serious. Like the, I don't know. But you could tell she's angry. She's angry at the situation. She's angry at him for like just wanting to move on, basically, and not grieve their son. Um, yeah, that was all that support that she gave him, but not now. Like this broke her. Like she different. Like she became a different person, and I get that. Like it's gonna be 4 years in September, and it's like crazy. Like even thinking about how it's been 4 years, like it feels like so long in one way, and then so in some ways it feels still very, very, very fresh. Um, and there are days, like everybody that gone through this, there, you understand. Like there are days that I'm good, I feel fine, but then I'm like, there's just days that I just think about my mom. Um, and it's like things like this, like this movie that just shows what grief looks like, and you're like, yeah, it sucks that bad. Um, and so to go back to the movie, she hears word that William Shakespeare, like, he finished his play and is gonna do a new play, and it's called Hamlet. So apparently, in those days, Hamnet and Hamlet was basically interchangeable. Like, uh, Bobby, Robert. I'm guessing, like, it just same person could be all three of those. So Hamnet and Hamlet basically same thing. It doesn't matter. Um, but the play is Hamlet, right? So through all this, you see him struggling to write. This is one part where he's like, "I've lost it," and it just, I get it, man. Like, creatively, I feel frustrated so many times because, I mean, thank God I have this outlet, but there's so many things I want to do creatively, and I have not been able to do for a lot of reasons. And a lot of it is on me. Just I I didn't have put the time that I should. The mental block and things like that where I feel stuck or like I don't even know what I'm doing, especially in something that I've never done. And I'm talking specifically about writing my graphic novel. I've been trying to write this graphic novel for like 6 years, man, and it's sad because I haven't got nowhere. I've gotten nowhere. My story has changed a lot in my head. There's been different angles that I keep coming through, but I get it. He was very frustrated because he was like stuck. He's like, I lost it. I haven't even lost it. I never. I don't think I've never had it. So at least he's seen like, hey man, I've written some stuff. You know what I mean? But anyways, he's lost it. But this tragedy happens, and then finally it sparks. Something sparks in him, and he writes Hamlet. The final few scenes of the movie, you see Agnes actually come to see the play, and this is the first time. See, this is it's weird on marketing. Let me get a little thing right now. After the movie stopped, after the movie finished, right? Because I had to pause the movie to do something, and I told my wife, I screamed to my wife, "Don't read the synopsis. Don't read anything." And I didn't read it either, but I could see it. You know what I mean? And so, anyways, after the movie, I read the synopsis on Peacock, and it would literally says like, "This is a story about how the death of William Shakespeare's 11-year-old son inspired him to write Hamlet." And I was like, "You got to be kidding me! You got to be kidding me that they wrote that." And the reason I bring that up is because in the movie, okay, I watch movies with captions. In the movie, usually they give you like the name, when especially if they're like two people talking, you see like a name, like, so they show Agnes and then her talking. And in this movie, in the beginning, William Shakespeare is a tutor, and they literally titled tutor. Like if you're watching, it says tutor. Then he becomes the husband, and when he's talking, and it shows that it's supposed to show his name, it says husband. Okay, so in the whole movie, they don't say his name to the end, pretty much. When Agnes shows up to London, there's a guy saying, "Oh, you'll find William Shakespeare, or this is the family of William Shakespeare." That's the first time you see the movie or the person. Like, that's the first time you hear his name. So in my head, it's kind of weird because I feel like the movie intended to play off that as much as they can, like hide who the story was about. And I was happy that I didn't read any description because I didn't know that the son was dying. I didn't know. I don't know like William Shakespeare's life, so I know that if people know anything about William Shakespeare, I'm guessing they know that. And his book has been out for like 6 years, so I'm guessing it's pretty knowledgeable. Like people know, but I didn't know. So for me, I was happy to experience it like fresh. And my wife, we experienced the movie fresh. We didn't know anything. We didn't know Hamnet was gonna die. But anyway, back to the movie. Just a tangent about spoiler stuff. Back to the movie. She goes to London and she's gonna see the play. So she goes in and she, the crowd, they're just standing. It's like a standing room type crowd. And she just like barges in there. No theater etiquette, dude. Like this lady, but I get it, But she was just barging in, like move, move, move. Like she wanted to get to the front. And they one of the actors mentioned, oh, they say the name Hamlet, and she's like, why is he saying Hamlet? Why is he like? She's like upset. She's upset that they're talking about Hamlet. Like, there's why are they saying her son's name? Like, it's a grieving mom, and even though at theater etiquette is horrible, but I get it. I get it. Like, she's like probably upset that why is my son's name in this play? Like, what is the purpose of this? And so the play goes on, and the actor that plays Hamlet in the Hamlet play is actually Noah Jupe, which is the actual big brother in real life of the kid that plays Hamnet. So that's a like fun fact. But when you think about it, you're like, wow, like Hamnet and Hamlet, like inspired by the same kid and their brother in real life, which is pretty dope. Um, but this kid was giving a great performance, Hamlet, and there's a part where you see William Shakespeare, playing a character, and you start to see him like really give into it because you could tell that he wrote this play for a reason. Like this is his way of grieving, because even though the story of Hamlet is not the same, right? It doesn't have to do with the kid dying because of a disease or anything like that. 11, but you could tell that he wrote it out of grief. And there's this great scene between him and Noah, like so convincing. You could tell that he's like giving everything, like if this was his son, because he's playing the father, the dead father of Hamlet, and it's like he's talking to Hamlet, like Hamnet, like if he's talking to his son Hamnet, and you can see her like really like calming down and like really getting to the play, like she's seeing William Shakespeare and she's like noticing like him. She's starting to understand like this is his grieving process. And there's like at the end, towards the end, Hamlet. I didn't even know this, so it spoiled the ending for me because I don't know the ending of Hamlet, but now I do. Uh but Hamlet gets poisoned, so he's like giving this speech, like because he's about to die, and he falls to his knees, and then the nature of daylight starts playing. So if you don't know anything about this song is such a beautiful song that is like grief, like sadness. And it has a special place for me because again, I love this song. It's in our Arrival. It's in Shutter Island. Like, song's great. And I remember early on, I was on TikTok, um, just scrolling or whatever. After my mom passed, it was like maybe a week or two or three or something after my mom passed. And the song, this The Nature of Daylight by Max Richter or Richter by Max Richter started playing. I started bawling. And it was because this song was like, this is how I was feeling. So ever since that day, that song is like the song I have for my mom. You know, I'll put it on here and there to listen to it. I think about my mom. Sometimes I cry. Sometimes I, you get a little sad. Sometimes I cry, or sometimes I'm just there listening, sad, or 'cause I miss her. And so there's that connection. So when that song starts to play in this movie, I'm like, oh no, this is not good. Um, and the thing about this movie, it's that it you go on a journey with the characters. And it's like, look, I'm easy to make emotional. It doesn't take much for me. But this movie, so you know, I'm one of those easy guys. But this movie earned it. Like, not just my mean, because again, I'm fast. I'm easy-ish. I'm on the easy spectrum. I know that. But this movie lets you go through it with them because you are in there. Like, you are in their grief, you are in their happiness, you are in those moments with them. So when this music starts playing, the character of Hamlet, he gets on his knees and he's dying. And then Agnes, because she made her way all the way to the very front of him. She like makes eye connection with him, like you see her teary, like feeling it, dude. And she just reaches out as he's dying. Yeah. Um, and then he starts reaching out, and the camera backs, and then you see like everybody in the crowd crying, bawling, and you see people start like reaching out. And then you see the moment that she like looks around, and she's like, man, like they're experiencing this grief for this character, and in a way it connects them. Like William Shakespeare did something in this play that he's grieving, and he wants, the way I see it is like he wants to share his grief so that people can experience the grief he's grieving for his kid. And she like looks around and like notices this, and it's so touchy. Um, and then at the end, her son Hamnet, like she's like, I guess, a vision, and he's like walking away, and he turns and he looks at her, and he smiles, and she like does this gesture, like I guess something she did with him. And while you see the people crying in the background, she lets like this little laugh, and it's like a relief. It looked like, to me at least, like she's just starting to heal. Like this now, she can start healing. They can start healing, and then that's it. That was the end. Um, like I said, this movie wrecked me. I mean, I was at work thinking about it all day, and it was just, I just appreciated the pacing, the letting us in, like that emotional payout was warranted. It was earned. and I was happy about that. Like because I went through it with her. Like she was incredible. Jessie Buckley, like an incredible actress. You felt all the emotions that she was feeling. Like you don't see a lot of movies like this. You know what I mean? Like slow pace and like letting you feel and inviting you into like let's go on this emotional journey together. That's how I felt. Incredible movie. I gave it 4.5 stars because I was like, I don't want to give everything a 5 star. I think I'm gonna give it a 5 star because the more I keep thinking about it, like it's such an incredible movie. Um, and it was a nice little cry, you know. I hadn't had one like that because again, it related a lot to the topic of grief, which is something that a lot of people experience, you know. So it just like to me, it was like I was able to grieve too, you know. Like while she was grieving for her son, I was grieving for my mom, and we were able to do that together. And yeah. So I mean, yeah. So I know this is a little bit more emotional side. I'm sorry, not your typical Alex the Rebel goofiness, but I wanted to like open up, you know, and tell you what I was feeling, share with you guys. Uh, so yeah, if you watched it and you haven't watched the movie, I know some people that like spoilers. Like, man, dude, I just ruined all of it for in my head. But if you watched it but you haven't watched the movie, just watch the movie and let me know. And for those of you who has watched this movie, let me know in the comments like how did you feel? Like, am I right or is it just me? Like the grieving and the emotionalness, the emotional journey we go on. It's like this crazy thing, man. But I felt it, and it was awesome, and I loved it. So as always, thank you for watching. Rebel out.